Hello everyone, welcome back to our Python programming course. I hope all of you are doing great. So, before starting today's class, let's quickly revise what we learned in our previous lecture. So, in previous lecture, we completed the conditional statements and we learned if statement, if else statement, if else statement, okay, and finally we learned nested if statement. And also, we solved many practical examples like checking voting eligibility, pass or fail, grading systems, and ATM verification and login systems. I hope you practice those programs. So, because programming is a practice skill, the more you practice, the more confident you become. Okay, now let's get started today's topic. So today's topic is loops. It is one of the most important topic in Python. So let us move to the loops. So before starting loops, let me ask a simple question. Students, suppose I ask to print welcome to the Python only one time. That's very easy. But if I ask to print the same message 10 times, will you write print 10 types? No. That would make the program longer and waste of time. This is exactly why Python provides loops. So a loop repeats the same task again and again automatically. In simple definition, a loop is used to repeat a block of code multiple times until a condition becomes false. Okay, so there are two types of loops, that is while loop and for loop. And now we'll begin with the while loop. So let's take the example. Suppose print hello 5 times. Now let's open VS Code. Okay, so now let's print hello 5 times. Count equal to 1. While count equal less than equal to 5. Print hello students. Okay, and count equal to count plus 1. Okay, so now let us understand this program. First, we create a variable called count and assign the value which is 1. And next we write while count less than equal to 5. This means Python will continue the loop as long as the value of the count is less than or equal to 5. Inside the loop, we print hello students, and finally we increase the value of count by 1. This is very important because if we don't increase it, the loop will never stop. Now let's run the program. So you can see the output hello students is printed 5 times. Even though we wrote the print statements only at once. That's the power of the loops. Okay. Now let's see ask some question for students. Now I have a small question. What do you think? If I remove this line, what will happen? Take 5 seconds and think about that. Okay. So if we remove this line, the value of count will always remain 1. The condition count less than equal to 5 will always be true. So Python will keep printing forever. So this is called as an infinite. So always remember to update the loop variable. Okay, now let us take the another example, that is print from 1 to 10. Suppose for example, okay, so number equal to 1 while number less than equal to 10. Print number, okay, and number equal to number plus 1. So let's understand this program. Initially number equal to 1. Loop checks whether the number is less than or equal to 10. If it is true, Python will print the current number. Then we increase the number by 1. So this process repeats until the value becomes 11. Now let's run the program. So students notice that the loop automatically print all numbers from 1 to 10 without writing 10 separate print statements. Okay, now let's move to the another example, that is print even numbers from 2 to 10. Okay, now let's set the values 2 and number plus. Now let's run. Okay, now let's see. This time we started from 2. Instead of increasing by value 1, we increase it by 2. Okay, we increase it by 2. So output will be the 2, 4, 6, 8. So this is an easy way to print even numbers using a while loop. So now here challenge for you. Can you modify this program to print odd numbers? So pause this video for 2 minutes and try it yourself. Okay. So the answer is starting instead of 1 instead of 2 and still increase by 2 each time. Okay. That's the answer. Okay. So many commoners beginners mistakes. Before we end this part, let's look at small common mistakes. So many of the students forgot the semicolon. If you forgot the semicolon, the output will shows an error. Make sure keep it up in mind. Semicolons and signs are very important. Okay. So now let's move more practical while loop programs. So these examples are very common in exams and interviews. So type them with me and understand the logic. Okay. So let's see the another example. Suppose print numbers from 10 to 1. Okay. So guys, in the previous we printed numbers from 1 to 10. Now let's do the opposite. We will print numbers from 10 to 1. So now let us see number equal to 10. While number greater than equal to 1. Okay. Print number and number equal to number minus 1. So let's see. Now let's understand. We start with number equal to 10. This condition while number greater than equal to 1. So as long as the number is greater than or equal to 1, Python prints it. After printing, we decrease the value by 1. Now let's send the program. So students notice this time we are counting backwards from 10 to 1. Now let's see the another example. So print odd numbers for example. Now let's say print odd numbers. Okay. So mm, okay, now see, let's say print odd numbers. Now we have changed the sign. Okay. Now let's see. We start from 1 and every time we increase value by 2. So Python prints 13579. So if we will start from 2, we will get even number. If we start from 1, we will get odd number. Very simple. I am repeating again. If we start from 2 and we will get even number. If we start odd number, we will get odd number. Okay. Now let's see the another example, that is multiplication table. So let's create a multiplication table. Suppose I want the table of 5. So number equal to 1 while number, okay, print 5 x, okay, into number comma, okay. comma 5 and star number. So number equal to number plus 1. Okay, now let's run it. Now this. Now let's run the program. So output will be the student. This is much easier than writing 10 separate print statements. So now try changing 5 to 7 and see the output. Suppose we change from here 7. Now let's see the output. Okay, now let's see the 7 table as like as before 5. Okay, and past this video I am giving for, suppose we put from here 9. So now let's try to change 7 to 9 to see the output. Okay, try it yourself. Now let's see the another example, that is sum of numbers. Okay, so now let's a very important program. We will find sum of numbers from 1 to 5. So sum equal to 0 and number equal to 1. While number greater than equal to sum equal to sum plus number. Number equal to number plus 1. So print total equal to sum. Okay, student, this program is slightly too much different. We create a variable sum and gave it value which is 0. Each time the loop runs, we add current number to the sum. So let's see what happens. First, suppose 0 plus 1 is equal to 1. Next, 1 plus 2 is equal to. So like that, what to do now? Let's run the program. So you see the output is 15. This type of program is asked very frequently in coding exams. So this is very simple. You see carefully, let's understand carefully. So it's too much slightly different compared to previous. So students, you feel difficult? No. Okay. You will understand the code is very easy. Okay. Let's see here sum equal to 0. We create a variable called sum and gave it value 0. Each time the loop runs, we add the current number to sum. Okay. Now let's your time its practice activity. Pause this video for few minutes and try this program by yourself. This practice is good for you. Okay? Practice is key to become a good programmer. Try it yourself. Now let's see the first program, first practice activity. Print numbers from 20 to 30 and print even numbers from 2 to 20. And next, print the multiplication table of 9 and find the sum of numbers from 1 to 10. Try it yourself. Take few minutes, no problem. Okay, let's see the common mistakes for beginners. Before we finish, let's see the common mistakes. Forgetting to update the loop variable. Using the wrong comparison operator. Suppose we put here greater than, it will gives an error. And incorrect indentation. Always check this if your program doesn't work. Okay, now let's see the introduction for loop. Okay, so many beginners asking this question: when should we use a while loop and when should we use for loop? Don't worry, by the end of this video you will know the answer. Okay, so guys, let's move to the for loop. Before starting for loop, students, imagine I ask you to print from 1 to 10. We can do this using a while, but Python gives us an easier way. That easier way is called as for loop. So a for loop is mainly used when we already know how many times we want to repeat something. In simple words, a for loop repeat a block of code for a fixed number of times. Remember this definition. Now let's see the practical examples. Okay, student, this is our first for loop. Okay, for number in uh, number in range 1 comma 6. 1 comma 6. Okay, and print numbers. Okay, now let's understand every line. Here first for numbers in range. Here range from 1 to 6 means starts from 1 and stopping before 6. Suppose a Python prints 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and it will stop before 6. Suppose we write here 1 comma 7. It will print from 1 to 5. Means it will start from 1 ending before number. Before this number. Okay. So let's see the output. So from 1 to 5. Remember one point, the last value range is not included. That's why 6 is not printed here. So Let's give the another question for students. So if I write range 1 comma 11, what will the output? Pause this video and try it yourself. Okay. Suppose we put here from 11. So the output will be the 1 to 10. Now let's see the another example. Okay. Mm, let's delete this and so for I in range 5 and print welcome to Python. Okay. Students, here range is 5. Python repeats the loop 5 times. Now let's run the program. You will see the output. Notice that we wrote only one print statement, but Python prints it 5 times. That's the advanced of the loops. Now let's see the another example, that is print even numbers. Okay. Mm, let print even numbers. Okay, for number in range 2 comma 11 and 2. Print number. Okay. So here this time range has three values. So first value is 2, means starting from 2, and second value is 11, means stopping before 11, and the third is 2, means increase by 2 every time. Now let's run the program. Means it start from 2 and ending before 11, and it will increase 2. Now for suppose if I change the 3, means starts from 2, ends before 10, and increase by 3. Now let's see the output. 2 5 8. Okay. Now let's print odd numbers. For example, delete this and odd numbers 1 comma 10 comma 2. So we started from 1, and every time we increase by 2 and ending before 10. Now let's see the output. Very easy. 1 3 5 7 9. So it's very easy. 11 1 3 5 7 9. So it's time to your pass this video, and I will give you one question. Can you print from 11 13 15 17 9? Try it yourself. Okay. Now let's see the difference between while and for loop. This is a very common question in interviews. So, using a while loop when you don't know in advance how many times the loop should repeat, and using a for loop when you already know the number of repetitions. For example, printing numbers from 1 to 10. A for loop is better choice, but okay. Now let's see the common mistakes. Suppose for I in range 1 comma. Can you find the mistake from here? Yes, we got semicolon from here. That's the mistake. And you will forgot this semicolon and you will forgot the indentations also. Suppose we put semicolon from here. You see the indentation. So always use four spaces after the first statement. Okay. Now let's see the practice activity. It's time to your turn. Pause the video. So try these programs. Okay. Print numbers from 1 to 20 and print even numbers from 2 to 20. Print odd numbers from 1 to 90. And the final question, print your name 10 times using for loop. Okay. Now let's see more for loop programs. Now let us take the example multiplication table. In the previous part, we created a multiplication table using a while loop. Now let's solve the same problem using for loop. Okay. So number equal to int enter a number. So for I in range 1 comma 11. So print number and x comma I comma is equal. Okay, and number into I. So let's understand this program. In the first line, we take a number from user, and in the second line, we take a number. Okay, now now let's run the program. Suppose I enter 7. Now let's see the output. Instead of writing 10 print num statements, we wrote only one loop. This is why loops save both time and effort. Now pause this video and try entering 5, 8, 12 to see different multiplication tables. Okay, now let's move to the next example. Sum of numbers from 1 to 10. Now we will write a program to calculate sum of numbers from 1 to 10. This is very common question. Okay. number number equal to 0. No, sorry. Total equal to 0. But I in range 1 comma. Okay. So total equal to total plus I. Now print total equal to. So let's understand the logic from here. So we create a variable called total and assign value which is 0. First we create a variable called total and assign the value 0. Every time the loop runs, the current value of I instead, okay, is adding to total. Let's see how it works. Initially total equal to 0 and 0 plus 1 equal to 1. Now let's run the program. So output will be the 55. Okay. This is the one of the easiest way to calculate the sum of numbers using a loop. Now let's move to the another example, that is find squares of numbers. Okay. So this time we'll print the square of numbers from 1 to 5. For I in range 1 comma 6 and print I comma square comma I star I. So here I star I means square of the number. Now let's run the program. So here 1 square 1, 2 square 4 and 4 square 16, 5 square 25. Here very simple. Now try changing from range 1 to 10. Okay, practice yourself for it, 1 to 10. Okay. Now let's see the another example. Print characters of a word. Okay. So and let prints each letter of a word separately. Okay. Word equal to Python. Okay. For letter in word. Okay. Print letter. So students, here the variable word stores the text Python. The for loop takes one character at a time. Now let's run the program. So Python, Python. This is very useful when working with strings. So now let's change the name, for example here Schengen. Now let's see the output. Okay. So this is the print characters of your word. Okay, so it's time to your turn practice activity. Pause this video for few minutes and try it yourself. So the first question is print the multiplication table of 9, and the second question is find the sum of numbers from 1 to 20, and the third question print the square of numbers from 1 to 10, and the final question print every character of your own name using for loop. Okay, so these programs, before continue, try it yourself. Okay, so remember that the best way to learn programming is by writing code by yourself. That's the best way to learn Python. Okay, now let's move to the another topic. So let's start the nested loops. Many beginners think nested loops are difficult, but after today's class, you will understand them very easily. So let's see the nested loop. So let me ask a simple question. Have you ever seen a classroom? So inside one classroom there are many students. Or think about a school. Inside a school there are many classrooms and one thing is also inside another. Similarly in Python, when we write one loop inside another loop, it is called as a nested loop. In simple words, a nested loop means writing one loop inside another loop. Okay, now let's understand with practical coding. So let us take an example, print a rectangular pattern. Okay, so for for I in range, uh, no, sorry, 3. Sorry. Okay, so for J in range 5. Okay, print star and n. Okay, and print option. So students don't worry if this looks new, confusing. Let us understand it very slowly. So the outer loop runs 3 times. Every time the outer loop runs the inner loop 5 times. The inner loop prints 5 stars in a row. Let's run the program. So after that print function moves the cursor to the next line. Okay, now let's run the program. So can you see we print 3 rows and rows as 5 stars. This is the power of the nested loop. Okay, now let's see the another example, that is print number pattern. Okay, So for I in range 3. Okay, for j in range 1 comma 6, and print j comma end we call the quotations, and print. Okay, so the outer loop creates the rows and the inner loop prints the number from 1 to 5. This means starting from 1 and ending before 6. Now let's run the program. So the same number are repeated on each row because inner loop starts from 1 every time. Okay. Now let us take the another example, that is multiplication table from 1 to 3. Suppose. Okay. Now let's write slightly bigger program. We will print multiplication table from 1 to 3. So for table in range 1 comma 4, print table of table. Okay, for I in range, I in range 1 comma 11. Now print table comma x. Okay, comma I comma double quotes is equal to comma table star I. Now let print function. So this is very useful example. So the outer loop change the table number. Okay, first the print table 1 and the inner loop prints 1 into 1 to 1 into 10. Okay, after that the outer loop changes to 2 and inner loop prints the table of 2, and finally it prints the table of 3. Okay, now let's run the program and observe the output carefully. So you can clearly see that one loop controls the table number while the other loop prints the multiplication. So this is the another real life useful of nested loop. Okay, now let's see the common mistakes for beginners. So you will forget the semicolon. Okay, always remember that inner loop must be properly indented. Another common mistakes, forgetting a semicolon and print function statements after the inner loop. Without it, all the output appears on one line instead of separate rows. Okay, that's it. So now let's see the revision for today's topics. We covered many important concepts. Okay, let's revise them one by one. So first of all, we discuss loop. What is loop? A loop is used to repeat the same block of code multiple times. For example, if I want to print hello students 10 times, I don't need to write 10 print statements. I can simply use a loop. So always remember, loop help us reduce code and save time and make programs easier to write. And next we discuss while loop. Our first loop was the while loop. A while loop keeps running as long as the condition is true. Let's quickly revise with simple example. Okay, now you understand better. So count equal to 1. Okay, while count equal to greater than equal to 5, and print. Okay, sorry, 26, and count equal to plus 1. Now let's run the program. So you see the hello students is printed 5 times. Okay. Now look at this line, count equal to count plus 1. This line is very important because it increases the number of value of count. If we remove it, this condition will never become false and the program will keep running forever. So this is called as an infinite loop. So always update your loop variable. Now let another topic, that is for loop, we discuss. So let's revise that. We use a for loop when we know how many times we want to repeat something. So let's type what is, for example, for I in range 1 comma 6 and print I. Okay, now let's run the program. So student, remember one rule. The ending value is range is not included. Here means 1 comma 6 means starting from 1 and ending before 6. Okay, ending value range is not included. Suppose we write here 10 comma 20. Starting from 10, ending before value 20. 20 is not included. Okay, this is a very common question. Now let's discuss the nested loops. Okay, so a nested loop means one loop inside another loop. Okay, so for example, we can write for I in range 3. Okay, and for j in range 4, and print star begin star and end. Okay, and print Okay. So outer loop controls the number of rows. So the inner loop control the number of columns. Now let's run the. This is the one of the simplest example of a nested loop. Okay. Now let's quick comparison for that. So student, let's compare the loops. While loop, using a while loop when the number of repetitions is not known. For example, keep asking the user for a password until they enter the correct. For loop, using a for loop when the number of repetitions is known. For example, print numbers from 1 to 10. So let's take nested loop. Using a nested loop when one loop needs to run inside another loop. For example, printing patterns, multiplications tables, or working with rows and columns. Okay, so let's give a mini challenge for that. So pause this video for few minutes and try it yourself. So let's see the program number one, print numbers from 1 to 20 using for loop. And program number two, print even numbers from 2 to 20 using a while loop. And third question, print the multiplication table of 8. And the fourth one, print 5 into 5 star pattern using nested loops. Okay, try all programs before watching the next lecture. So remember this point, programming becomes easier only when you practice regularly. Okay, so today we completed the entire loop chapter. We learned loop, why loops are used, while loop, practice while loops, for loop, practice for loop programs, and nested loop, pattern printing, and computer mistakes. And finally, we learn practice questions. So I hope you understood all the concepts. If any topic is still confusing, do not worry. Watch the lecture again and pause the video. Type every program and practice until you are comfortable. So remember that good programmer are made by practice, not just by memorizing. Okay, so guys, this is the end of the today's lecture, that is loops, and thank you so much for watching this complete lecture. Okay, if this video helped you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to channel. Also, let me know in the comments which topic you want to learn in the next. In our next lecture, we will start in brand new chapter and continue building our Python program. Okay, until then, keep practicing, keep coding, and keep learning. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next lecture.